Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the best budget cards to buy here in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here at each position. Now, I'm going to be completely and utterly honest with y'all. Some of these positions, I had to stretch the definition of what budget means a little bit because there just aren't that many good cards to buy. So I'd like to keep each position, each card under like 50,000 MT, but it's just not realistic at some of these positions right now because some of these positions, every card under 50K MT sucks. Like, to be totally honest with y'all. This is probably the area that 2K has done the worst with this year's budget cards. There's some decent free cards and stuff, and I'm even going to mention a couple of free cards in this video as well, just because I know that's not the standard for these best cards to buy videos, but I'm trying to help y'all get the best cards y'all possibly can for affordable and stuff. And in certain situations, especially with 2K doing such limited budget cards this year, you only have so many options, you know what I mean? So hopefully this video is helpful to y'all. Before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, tons of consistent daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. So at the point guard position, to be totally honest with y'all, there are only two point guards that I think are really worth buying at the PG spot. Now, I will also say before I can hop into it, number one is Tim Hardaway. He's about 60K, which is a little bit more than what I would consider budget, right? But he's 60K. I would like to keep it under 50. 60's fine. He's got Patty Mills base, which makes his shooting really good. Elite level fast jumper, really good perimeter defender, great speed to the ball and agility. Can't dunk though, which is an issue. Now he's an awesome shot creator, and he's an awesome shooter, especially with on-ball menace added. If you could find like a badge Tim Hardaway, that would be really, really nice. Like for example, this one's going for 62K as one extra gold badge. If that gold badge were to be its brick wall, but if it were to be on-ball menace, like that's perfect. For his price, if you get just a little bit of defense on him, I do think he's actually very solid. But he is slightly over that 50K MT. The other point guard that is 100% under 50K MT, but is a little bit limited at this point, is Austin Rivers. I don't think this card is bad at all. Let me first start by prefacing that. I think he's very, very solid, but he is a teensy bit limited compared to some of the other guys. But with that being said, if you can find one that is badged, for example, that 21 gold badge one that we just passed over, which is somewhere over here. Here we go. This one has got 21 gold badges. Does it have on-ball menace added? He does have on-ball menace added. This is the type of Austin Rivers you could get. If you can get him with on-ball menace added, a couple other badges for 25K, I actually think that's a very good price because this card's 6'4", he can shoot, he can dunk, has a nice release, solid defender with some defensive badges added. He's not a bad card at all at the PG spot still, so I think Austin Rivers is your other option. Now, two gems of the game point guards to keep an eye on if you're looking for budget PGs, if you can get them for decent prices, are Baron Davis and DeAnthony Melton, both of whom are solid. Amy Baron Davis and then Ruby DeAnthony Melton are both very good cards. Honestly, Melton might be even a little bit better than Baron, to be honest, if you were to get one of him badged up. But both those guys are pretty rare on the auction house and often more expensive than you'd like as well. But if you can get one of them for a good price, that can always be super nice. And so that is another thing to consider with this list. The other guy I will shout out, and he's not cheap, but he was free yesterday. So I hope you took advantage of that yesterday, was the free diamond of Jalen Green. Because this card, Jalen Green, is not super affordable. He is not what I would consider a budget card. In fact, he might not even be a buyout still. In fact, he probably isn't a buyout still, but he's right around a buyout, if not a buyout now. But he was available for free yesterday from Triple Threat Park. So I hope y'all took advantage of that and got the card for free, basically is what I will say. And if you didn't, well, you missed out. Unfortunately, that's what I have to say, because I don't think Jalen Green, while a pretty good card, is worth paying 100K MT for. I mean, he honestly kind of is worth paying 100K MT for if you really need a point guard. But getting him for free was super nice. So that's another guy we'll shout out real quickly. Shooting guard. There's actually 3 good shooting guards that you can buy, and I think the best budget card in the game as well that is available right now for at the shooting guard position for his price, and that is this Doug West. Sub 50K MT for this card is a absolute steal. Go watch the gameplay I did on this Doug West card earlier this weekend. He is nasty. He's got a very, very good jumper. He's a very elite slasher, and he's a solid defender as well. Has super nice sigs. Overall, he's got great movement, a great release, and is solid all the way around. Very athletic, versatile card. Again, if you could find a badged out Doug West, that's going to be your best bet. This one actually has a couple extra Hall of Fame badges. Let's check what those Hoffs are. It looks like he's got Hoff handles for days and maybe Hoff dimers. So just if you can in general find an extra badged out one, that's really, really nice. But as a whole, Doug West is actually a very, very solid card, and I think he is honestly a little bit overlooked. Like, this one's got a few extra badges on him. I know he's more expensive, but if you can find Doug West with some defense, this one's got Challenger. He's going to be a beast. I really do think he's a super solid card. So this is the best budget shooting guard for sure. Back up two guys. I mean, Albert King's really good. He's got the ability to shoot well. He's pretty affordable. Nice release, solid slasher, good defender. Overall solid card. Like, he's very, very solid. He's definitely your second best option. And then a guy who I like a lot but is under badged is Dominique Wilkins. He's a good card, no doubt about it. But I do think he struggles a little bit because of the lack of badges. Only, what, 9 total badges as a base card. That's just not enough. So I'd probably prefer those other two guys, West and King. But I do think Dominic is a 6'8 shooting guard with a pretty good release. Super athletic is not too bad either. Small forward position. Best small forward to buy for a budget is this Trevor Ariza, especially, again, if you can find with a few extra badges added. But I think Ariza is very, very nice. I think he's got a smooth release. I think he's 6'8", good slasher, solid all-around defender. Very, very solid, versatile card. Doesn't really have any real flaws. So big fan of Trevor Ariza as a 6'8 small forward. ML Carr would be my second choice. Kind of like Tim Hardaway. He's a little bit over that 50k MT price point, but he's only about, what, 60k MT? So, right, exactly. Like, that's not a big deal. Especially this one. He's got 5 extra gold badges here. If you could get this card, he's got Deadeye added. He's got Set Shot Specialist added. Like, this type of stuff is very, very nice. When you get a badged out version of an already solid card, that's what you're looking for, and this ML card would be a very, very solid purchase if you needed a budget small forward. Very nice release, versatile defender, good athlete, solid card. Number 3 is Amethyst Lou Dort, who I think is worse than Ariza in card, but not bad in his own right. Has a nice release, is a solid defender, but I will admit, especially with how rare he is now, I mean, I would not pay 40k for this card when you can get Ariza for 25. Let's just put it that way. But he's a good on-ball defender in his own right. This Dort actually has 3 extra hoffs as well. He's got high handles for days, post-lockdown, and set shot specialist added. So I guess that makes sense why he's a little more expensive. But overall, solid card. It's power forward position. Honestly, the best power forward y'all should be using right now is not a buyable card. It's a free card, and that is level 20 Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is better than all of the power forwards that you can get for under 50k MT right now in my team. So I would say just use him if you need a power forward for free. I think he's a better option than your buyable cards. Now, there are a couple of good buyable power forwards, specifically Sharif Abdul-Rahim. The problem with Sharif is I just wouldn't pay 40k for a card who I think is slightly worse than a card that I can get for free in Obi Toppin. And if you get a fully badged Sharif, he's a really nice card. He's actually got pretty complete badges as well. Like, this one has 27 gold badges for 45k. This is the type of Sharif Abdul-Rahim I would buy. Is if you can get one that's super souped up like this one is, with tons of added badges and upgraded badges and all that type of stuff. And this is an elite Sharif Abdul-Rahim, really solid budget card. But I still think Obi for his free price is still probably a little bit better value. And then the third guy I will mention at the power forward position, again, I'd rather run Obi, I'd rather run Sharif, but Purvis Ellison is a good card in his own right. Good defender, smooth release. Now, not an unbelievably elite overall card, just because his 3-ball rating is low. He's only got a 59 3-ball, but he does have a very nice jumper, especially if you shoot with the stick. Really not that hard to hit pretty consistently with him. I think Sharif is a very nice card. I think he's good defensively, and I think overall a very solid card in my team. So definitely would put him pretty high up on this list, putting him in number 3. Center position. I'm going to be totally honest with you. The center position has no good budget cards. There's literally not any. So we're going with guys who are a little more expensive than your typical budget. Number 1, Sean Kemp. I know he's 85k MT. I get it. There's nobody else to use. I don't know who y'all want me to suggest. I mean, Amethyst Pau Gasol sucks. All the Ruby centers, in my opinion, kind of suck. None of these guys are good, and I just don't think there's any use in buying them. So I'm being totally honest with you. I think this is more helpful. Sean Kemp for 85k MT. Yes, he's more expensive, but he's super athletic. He's got a good release. Defensively, I know the stats aren't unbelievable, but he's decent, especially if you can find a badged up one. Again, if you can find a badged Sean Kemp, that is where he's going to be at his best. If you get one with some interior defensive badges, things of that nature added, I really think he's a very solid card. Like, this one's got Paint Patroller added. If you could get that and maybe a movable enforcer, a couple things like that added to the card, he's very nice. And I do think Sean Kemp's a super solid card, so I don't want to sleep on the card at all. I just think he's a little expensive for sure. And honestly, so is the next guy, who's Jamal McGlure. I've heard good things about this card. A couple people have told me recently that he's actually really nice, and I was sleeping on him. He's right under that 100k MT price point. I know he doesn't have a ton of badges, but he does have a 52 3-ball. Yes, it's low. But again, stick shooting, just like with a guy like Tim Duncan or Moses Malone or Purvis Ellison, you can hit with him if they got a smooth release, and he does have that. He's an elite standing dunker. He's a very versatile defender. He's got good speed, great rebounder. Outside of the low shooting, everything else is super nice. And if the release is nice and you can rhythm shoot with him effectively, which does seem to be the case with Moses Malone, this is another really good card. Or sorry, not Moses Malone, Jamal McGlure. This is another really good card. Great inside big, who can kind of stretch the floor a little bit, has enough speed. Really solid card in his own right, but again, pretty expensive. The only budget center that I would recommend using in my team, And honestly, I don't even love this card, but it's Anthony Davis. He's got a good release. He's got a lot of total badges, even if they are low tier badges. We are in really desperate need of a budget center though right now. There's only one real great amethyst center that could drop in the near future though, and that's DeAndre Ayton. So hopefully that card comes out somewhat in the near future because he's really good. But all the other amethyst centers and hidden gems and stuff really aren't that good. So I just think the budget position at the center spot is just really weak, like really, really weak. So that is unfortunate, but it is the truth. And that's why we got to go with a little bit more expensive cards at the center spot. So with that being said, that's going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.